Here we go. And welcome to another episode of Unburdened. I am here with my special guest today, Patricia Franklin. And thank you so much for coming on board and sharing your story. This is a brave space. And I know that we are recruiting stories for the written project, the stories we bear and the stories we tell. So I appreciate you coming on today and you're going to share your story. So, for those of you who are listening, if you're excited about what we're doing here online and you want to share your story as well, click the link in my bio. So, without further ado, Patricia, I'm going to ask you, why are you sharing your story today? What motivated you?
First and foremost, Dr. Cree, I want to thank you for this honorable pleasure of being able to share my story and be on such a platform for other women to be able to share their stories at some point once they find the courage to do so. I felt it compelling to be a part of such a great series because I myself, I'm a woman, I'm Afro-Latina. I am very rooted into my roots, but I have specifically in the season have just come off of a healing journey. I definitely feel compelled to talk to other women, whether it be biracial, entrepreneurs, mothers, wives, women as a whole, to know that when we go through these healing journeys, when we go through these spiritual fast or whatever we do to heal ourselves, it is so important to know that you have a village. And it's so important to know that you too deserve to heal and move forward into your life at best that you can. But more or less, so we need to take care of ourselves.
So, this sounds like a little bit of a preview of the story that you're going to share with us today. And so, Patricia, I ask you, which story are you sharing that maybe not a lot of people know about you or that you've never shared in an open space before? Please tell.
Good question. I am a homicide survivor. And the derivative of that title came a little bit later into what I went through. I am a homicide survivor, not a victim, because my sister, who was very close to me, immensely, we were 2 years apart, was murdered in 2015. And she was found in an alley and she was pregnant. And seeing this happen to me while I was 5 months pregnant and not knowing that my sister was pregnant, it did something to me that I had never knew how much strength I had, how much courage I had. And this is a very vulnerable time in my life. You know, I'm becoming a mother and my ace coon boom, my best friend, my world, my confidant has been shot and murdered, pregnant as well. So from coming from this in 2015 and becoming a mother, 2 years later, I lost all my matriarchs and all from heart ailments, heart attacks, heart disease. And that's why when I speak about healing, when I speak about taking care of yourself, this is a large portion of what happened to my matriarchs. They had gate kept and helped some generational curses being broken, some still continuing on, but they left me. So I lost four valuable people in a span of 2 years while becoming a mother, while trying to figure out motherhood and not being so close to my mom. We've never been very close, tight knit, but it was a time in my life where I felt very lonely. And I felt like, why me, Lord? Why me? You know, who am I? But I knew as a child that I was very different. And I knew that I had this invincible strength, but I didn't know where it came from. So my sister's murdered. My matriarchs are gone. At 26, I'm running the family and I'm still trying to mourn. I'm a newlywed, and then I'm also trying to raise a family while going to school, while pursuing my accolades, and still trying to know who killed my sister, what happened to my sister. And what it did is it caused a new term for me, which was called grief. I've never grieved before. I never knew the nuances of what grief was. I ended up getting preeclampsia with my daughter. And being a new mother who didn't have a real tight knit relationship with her mother, I had no idea what was going on with my body. So I went through the trajectory of grief in a span of 10 years. I've literally been able to start healing last year because we ended up getting a verdict and he was found guilty on all counts. But I say my life started in 2015, even though I was born in 1991. But that's where my life started. because I had to buck up, because I had to learn how evil the world really is. I had to learn that even though grandma taught you how to cook and auntie taught you how to do the resume and your mom did the best she could, you're everybody now for everybody while still learning how to become a woman. So I had to fight things and unlearn things and learn things while still trying to figure out who's Patricia Franklin and what does she offer the world? And I'm still wrestling with my inner child and I'm still trying to figure out who I even am as a person. And the beauty in it is there's so much beauty in pain. There's so much beauty in it because as I'm grieving my sister, I'm having my own children. As I'm grieving my sister, I'm breaking generational curses. As I'm grieving my sister, I'm learning that all the little things that we used to do as little girls, I'm doing with my daughters. And it's beautiful and it's painful, but I decided to pull through. And I decided for the sake of the rest of my life and the advocacy I did for my sister and all the things I've done for myself, spiritually breaking generational curses, and really facing something called trauma exposure. I went to the places and spaces that hurt me the most on my sister's birthday last year. Her birthday was this past weekend, September 20th. And I started from the top of Signal Hill and walked all the way down. It was 10 miles, and I did not realize how much I had walked. But I told myself once the trial was in May, the verdict was in June. And in August, when I went to go pick up my sister's property, I said, Patricia, it's time. It's time to do the work. It's time to let go. I resigned from my 9 to 5 and I've flourished into my own business, Franklin Freelance. And I told myself, this is your time. God has given you this time to really heal. I know what happened to my sister. I need to face my matriarchs. I need to face that grief. I didn't get a chance to. I got my AA, I had my daughter. I got my bachelor's, I had my son. I got my master's, I'm pregnant with my last child. I never got to just breathe. And a lot of it was not facing the depths of what was really going on with me. Grief. And grief translates into frustration. It translates into, some people become alcoholics, some people become very dangerous people. But instead, I decided to pour into my children. But I said, in order for me to dutifully be the best mother I can be, I need to heal first because I can't raise these kids not healed in places and spaces that have hurt me the most. And that translated into the trauma exposure because I said, I walked through that alley numerous times where my sister was found. But I said, we're going to walk through this one more time and we're going to release and let go because she's been gone for now 10 years. And it took about 9 years for this to come at ease. So now I've translated this into books. I've written my first debut book, Sis, You Need Some Rest, a mental health guidance book for the hearts of the household, because I have friends that are going through different things in their mothering. I wanted women to know that we don't have to be the stigma of a strong Black woman, that we do mourn, that we do cry, that we grieve, that we're tired, that we get sick of our kids, that sometimes we don't feel like our husbands are doing enough, even if they're just there. I wanted women to know that they weren't alone. And I started with me first because how can you be the pillar and role model if you're not having any relatability? People don't become vulnerable unless they know you've been through it, right? And the beauty in the book is that I began my journey with intent. And I said, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this with full force intention. And it's been a year now, and I have been so grateful to God to be able to have this time because with what I've worked so hard for, accolades, business minded, as a woman, I now get to revel as a mother. And that's what I live for. I want my kids to see not the ugly of what mommy been through. They never met my sister, but to know that I fought for that. I'm a lot of things. I'm a big sister, I'm a mother, I'm a daughter, I'm a mom, I'm a entrepreneur, I'm a lot of things, but at the heart of it, I'm their mother. And they know me as mommy. And those are the people that I care about the most. So healing is vital, it's pivotal to you as a whole. I smile and you would never have known, oh, she went through years. Oh, she's lost everybody, everything, even herself. But she picked herself back up again and she's now able to pour into other people. But I had to do the work and it was a lot of work.
Okay, Patricia, first and foremost, I feel like you should be leading this series because you explained exactly what this is about, and it's making sure that women don't feel alone,
Mhm.
that we don't carry the burden of others people's decisions. We don't carry the shame of our own decisions because we've made choices in life that we may not be proud of, but we've decided to move
Yeah.
on. And that's what this space is for, is releasing that energy in the world and saying, you are not alone. I'm here with you. Look at me. I made these choices and here I am today. I think the other piece of it, and I think about all the people who choose to give up.
Mhm.
They choose to give up because of something that they've experienced, whether
Mhm.
personally or adjacent to, without the strength to move forward.
Mhm.
How did you make that decision that you were going to fight through it?
I did not have, as mentioned, a very close relationship with my mother. She was 16 when she had me, and by 21, she had three children. And she never got to, I would say, rightfully raise us the way she wanted to. And when I think about my motherhood, when I think about my womanhood, I want to be better than what I had. And I have two little girls. Me and my sister at one point were two little girls. And instead of allowing that trauma, which we spiritually say that generational curse, to touch my children, I feel like they don't deserve what I went through. They don't deserve what I've been through. And that mindset is difficult because we are and we mirror what we know. We have to unlearn behaviors. And I had to unlearn a lot of behaviors, good and bad, for the sake of my children, for the betterment of my children. I was afraid of my mother as a child. I wanted my kids to respect me, not fear me. And so because that door was never open for me to come to my mother with things, minuscule things. I have a crush on a boy. I want to go somewhere. It was like, no, 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 because we are in a kept and sheltered world. I didn't want that for my children, that environment. So recognizing where I've come from, not marrying it, it took a lot of trusting within myself. Because as adults, we internalize things as children because we weren't able to fight that battle, or we didn't know what was going on with us, or we didn't know that that was wrong. And we have to unlearn those traumas. I've done therapy before, I've done grief therapy and therapy, but I also believe, and this is me, the holistic way has allowed me to be more free in my thoughts, but to really face myself. I had to face myself. And for any woman listening to this, you can't be afraid to face yourself. I don't care how you do it. I don't care if you sit in a car and talk to yourself. I say business meetings. I don't care if you literally look at yourself in the mirror and face yourself, because it's critical for you, but it's critical for the next generation to come. If you have babies, your generation, their generation.
You have already given our audience so much. But the last question is, what advice would you give to your younger self? Not knowing what you actually went through, but what advice would you give to young people who are experiencing trauma and heartache and break and feeling isolated and alone?
I grew up in the church. I know everyone has different upbringing. I was always told to go to God first, always, no matter what, even if you don't feel something spiritually going on or whatever the case. But I will always say to seek a village. There are people who love you. I'm that girl who was very guarded. I'm still guarded in some nuances as a grown woman, because I was hurt, right? A lot of people hurt me, and it's a defense mechanism, even at this age. But I would say to whom checks up on you, to whom gives you that hug, whoever, texts you in the middle of the night or just is on your tail, on your neck, baby, that's love. Those people love you. And what you have to learn is to let them in because to whom loves you, it is priceless. It is meaningless. They want nothing from you. But if someone checks up on you and they a bugaboo, baby, text them back. If someone wants to give you a hug and you're not in a mood, wallow away and snuggle in it because we want who we want to love us. And sometimes they can't do that. Not because they don't care about us, but we want who we want to love us. And it doesn't mean that they love you any less. It's just that they may not be able to evoke the love that you need. And you take what you get and you ride with it, even if it's not who you want it to be. But that is love. It is meaningless, priceless, and it wants nothing of you but a hug back, a text back, a kiss on the cheek, and I'm doing okay.
Look,
That's
this
it.
sounds like book number two, right? Love who loves you. There's
Yes,
something
love who loves
there.
you.
So, I want to make sure that we leave space for you to talk about who you are today. Like, in spite of everything that you've gone through, who are you today? And I know you've mentioned it, but I want people to be real clear about who Patricia Franklin is.
Well, Patricia, see now the beauty in that question, Dr. Cree, is I can respond to that without thinking. I used to have to think of like, who is she? Are you? Oh my goodness. I am a entrepreneur. I have my own writing consulting business where I call myself different things, writing mentor, now a career coach, momtrepreneur, because I am a stay-at-home mom while doing my entrepreneurship and it goes hand in hand. I am a homicide survivor. I am a suicide survivor. Um, I am a survivor, not ever a victim. Because the things that happen to me do not translate in who I am, but it's who I've become. They've made me, they've molded me. I'm a proud Afro-Latina, hablo español también. I am a wife. I am a great friend. I am a soror, Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated. And last but not least, I'm a woman. I am a woman. I said that last, but I am a woman. I'm a woman who's still finding herself. I'm a woman who is embarking on who Patricia Franklin is. And she is beautiful and she's amazing and she's not ever no hater. And she is happy and she is gleaming. And that's who Patricia Franklin and One Lump Sum is.
Now tell the people where they can buy your book. And I know you just released a matching journal. So tell the people
Oh,
where they
yeah.
can buy your book.
So, since you asked, Sis, You Need Some Rest, a mental health guidance book for the hearts of the household, is found on Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, and Kindle. And yes, we have a journal. I just announced my journal last week because my best friend was like, "Girl, you have a mental health guidance book. What about the journal?" Coming from a poetic background and then becoming a writer, um, I write a lot. I have journals from years and years and years. And I said, babe, no one wants to read what they've released. So I made it separately because I want you, yes, to read the book, but I want you to journal with the book. And it can be bought separately, but I wanted women to really vulnerably, humorously read the book. And if you know me personally, laugh with me. And if you don't, you might side eye me. But I wanted it to be a togetherness because we have to release. If you really want to start the journey, you have to release. And that's why the journal is sold separately. But it could be a standalone. It mirrors and mimics the book. But Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, and the ebook is on Kindle, which is on Amazon as well. Yes.
Listen, I am running to get my copy. And then I hope I can get it signed when I come to California.
Oh, now I'm gonna call you Dr. Taylor. Yes, ma'am.
Listen, I appreciate you for sharing. This was inspiring and grounding and insightful and empowering and all the things. And I know you through one of my best friends, and we've done some work together. And
Yeah.
I feel like this has gotten us closer. And I hope that folks who are watching this really can, reflect and relate to even just the inkling of what you've said. And so if you are feeling inspired to share your story, again, the link is in the bio. You can do it in three formats. You can do a written format. You can come on here and, showcase your story live for others to hear and to feel the essence of who you are. But you can also book some time with me and share your story privately if you're not necessarily a writer. So link in the
Yes.
bio. I hope you all choose to share. This is going to be a powerful project because of folks like Patricia Franklin. So thank you again. Bye.
Bye.